Hi guys, welcome to my vlog. So for today, I just want to share with you to also educate those moms and those people what I've been through during my pregnancy. So in 2016, April 1, we came to know that me and my husband is expecting a baby. So we were celebrating during that time, and we're just so happy knowing that after 2 years of being married, finally God answered our prayers. So we posted in Facebook, and our family celebrated also with us. Everything went well, so I went down to the doctor, and he told me that everything is okay about my pregnancy. So every month I need to visit the doctor so that they can check the progress of the baby until on the 4th month or on the 19 weeks of my pregnancy. We went down to the hospital, and it's supposed to be that day that we were gonna know the gender of the baby. So we were so excited walking down to the hospital with my husband by that time. And as we went there, everything was so okay. We queue up. Then upon going to the scanning room where they were gonna do, I think, a fetal anomaly, or just a scan for the baby, so that they can see ahead of time if there is something wrong with your baby while still on the tummy. And by the time when the rad tech, radiologist, what you call this, was scanning my tummy, I just saw a very sad gesture from her face. So I was just trying to calm myself and trying to feel like I hope that everything is okay. So after the scan, she just told us to meet the doctor after the scan. So I was kind of nervous knowing that why we need to meet the doctor after the scan. So I felt like there's already something wrong that is going on with the progress of the baby inside my tummy. She just right then and there told me that my baby has a Ccam, which is congenital cystic adenomatoid malformation. So my baby is growing a mass on his left lungs on his 4th month. So we're so happy, like we have a mixed emotion during that time, because we already knew that our baby is a boy, which is we have an answered prayer. But it's very a heartbreaking story hearing that our baby is growing a cyst or a mass on his left lung. So I remember that time, me and Raymond walking out from the Singapore hospital, which is in KK hospital, like we're really crying. Like I was so big that time, and I was just really crying and really just look upon heavens and was really like, God, I know you got this. Though my heart was really crushed into million times, because I don't know why God allowed that thing happen to us. Moving forward, on the 32 weeks, I went down there again for a fetal anomaly exam, where to check all the progress. And unfortunately, they still found that mass in his body. And by that time, they were already serious on how to take, or what the actions to take. They have already spoken to me what could be the things that I need to face, and what are the things that I need to do before my pregnancy, before my labor day, before I give birth, and even after giving birth. So they spoke to me that if the mass did not really decrease or totally gone even before giving birth to him, the next thing to do is he really needs to go a general surgery. During those times, I was really like, even though I did my best to really take good care of my health, staying away from any form of stress and anything, because I have asked the doctor what are the reasons why this Ccam happened to my baby. So they told me around 1,000, each 1,000 baby, there's one Ccam cases. On the 35th week, we went down again for the final decision before giving birth. So the doctor asked me if should I give birth in Singapore or here in Philippines, and the cost of the amount of the expenses that we need to save in order for us to, you know, sustain the financial needs in case JD will go or will undergo an operation. So they have even given me this very long letter because I have decided to do everything in the Philippines. It was a voluntary cesarean because the pediatrician, the OB-GYN, advised me to better have a cesarean rather than the labor, because they might afraid that the baby will really have a, you know, because it stated in the letter that they need a resuscitation in case he was really like struggling upon coming out from my womb, and those are the tendencies. On November 6, my doctor decided to have a voluntary cesarean operation. So I gave birth to JD November 6, and when the doctor saw the JD situation, it was not in a liquid or in a watery form of cyst or mass. So I was so happy then that JD don't need to undergo an operation. But the worst thing is that he was in the ICU for I think 10 days, and not holding him in my arms right away after giving birth because he needs to stay in the ICU. And these are the pictures that taken while he was in the ICU, remembering those days where I just cried and just hugging him, because it took 4 days or 5 days for me to latch him on my and it took 10 days, so everything went well. After 10 days, I was able to get him out of the hospital, but there are so many terms, and the doctor was telling me so many complications that might happen during those times that JD is still having that cyst in his body. So the first thing are, I might buy yung oxygen tank, and he must be like a weakling child, or he will be having a problem with breathing, and those things, those worst things or worst case scenario you could ever hear from a doctor. I mean, like I was really like struggling that time, and I remember after I still have those stitches in my cesarean, and I went down to the hospital like really kneeling, like having this stand, because I just really want to see my baby. So everything went well. We already took him out from the hospital, and I just let the peace of God, you know, raise in my heart, that even though I did not understand the current situation, I still believe that God will show up. So the doctor told me to wait for on the 9th month, or at least on JD's 1-year birthday, for us to have another set of scan. And I remember by that time pala, guys, when I came to know the JD's situation, I was even advised not to be too emotional, and we decided not to let our parents overseas knows about JD situation kasi parang it was kind of too painful for them to know. So we kept it between me and Raymond and with the church mates. So it's so hard that time holding your emotion because I'm still pregnant, 4 months pregnant that time, and like I have to take care of my baby. And I cannot even cry that time after giving birth because my mother was really like telling me you might have a B-nut. I don't know if those things exist but in short, I cannot be too emotional on my situation. So I really withhold that feelings, and that actually this is the first time only that I really cried. And looking back, kasi guys, when I was checking all these papers, from one negative news to another negative news, I cannot really afford that time to really, I cannot even read everything into details because my heart was really crushed into million times. Like, and these are the tests. And seeing my baby like being in the incubator and one test to another test at a very young age. He's so exposed with the radiation from one CT scan to another scan. Like, I decided to be strong that time because kung ako magbe-breakout pa or ako mismo magbe-breakdown, I don't know where my husband or my family can get the strength. So sinabi lang namin we told our parents about it once we reach home in Philippines. Doon lang namin sinabi that, Ma, I will be facing this, I'm facing a very big problem. My baby is growing a mass, something like that. And they were all shocked, like, knowing the situation na yun pala yung haharapin ko. So, I had this 5 months vacation leave from work, and those are the times was really like a so humbling situation wherein you really need to ask God and really beg God and really seek God that why these things happen to me and what are the things that God is really showing me or teaching me, because it was really beyond pain. No words can explain what kind of pain I'd been through that time. So even the doctors told me like your child will be in and out in the hospital because isang lungs lang daw yung nagfa-function and the other lungs will have a hard time coping up with the oxygen that he needs to intake because the other lungs is not functioning. And by the way, upon giving birth, actually it was not a cyst, it became a tumor. It was 2 inches and a half. So could you imagine a 2 inches and a half with a very tiny baby having, carrying that mass in his body, like. And I was really declaring to my baby daily, day and night, that I believe that no knife will undergo on his body, no single knife. That was really my declaration, Lord. I know I am preparing for the worst. If in case the operation will happen, I will do my best to save money because I need to save a lot and to prepare for the finances because it's quite a big operation. But I was really telling God, but God, I really want to let you know that my faith is still holding on, that you will let me experience this situation, but I know that you will gonna deliver me from this, and I know no single knife. Yun talaga, that was really my declaration in my heart, na Lord, it's quite impossible because according to the doctors and when you search in YouTube and in Google, in those cases only operation can be, only through operation nga gagaling lang si JD. There's no certain way. Even you check in Facebook, those infant babies after giving birth talaga, they went through the operation. But with me, I have so much faith in God that hindi siya operahan. So I went back to Singapore. I brought him in Singapore. So we waited until he's by 1 year old. Parang we have to wait until 1-year-old birth of JD. So, before 1-year-old, I really had a conversation with God one-on-one, and I really made a deal with God. I told Him na, Lord, please heal JD, and if you were gonna heal him, I will really give up this career, this dream of mine. I will give up my career here in overseas and go back so that I can have more time with you and more time with my baby. So, yun yung pinaka-greatest dealing ko with the Lord is uuwi ako, and you know, I am willing to pay the price, whatever or how big the price is. I will really go back para lang gumaling si JD. And I had a devotional, I had a word from the Lord that time. It was in John 4:46 verse. It was in John 4:46 to 54, when there was a man approaching Jesus, and his son is already dead, and he asked Jesus to heal his son, and Jesus told him, "Do not be afraid, your son will live." And by that time, I really hold on to the word of God, because guys, if hindi kasi siya operahan, the cyst will be, it might turn into cancerous one. So yun yung kinakatakot ko, and I cannot really imagine, you know, holding a baby, having a general surgery, like massive. I cannot really see myself. Parang sabi ko, Lord, hindi ko kaya talaga na going to the hospital and seeing my son suffering from this kind of sickness, which is, I really believe that Jesus can really heal. Fast forward, we went back home. November 2017, we celebrated his birthday. We just brush off and forget everything. Like, we're just thankful with the 1 year of God's faithfulness in JD's life. So after celebrating the birthday, we went down to the hospital for the CT scan. Since limited lang yung time ko, yung vacation leave ko, I even left JD in the hospital with my mom and with my na sila na lang yung nagtapos, you know, for JD's scan. So I went back to Singapore, and I was really crying in the airport, telling God that, God, I cannot really bear it anymore. And I know that they have said that, Lord, you are giving us problems and trials na kaya namin, but this time, Lord, hindi ko na kaya. Like, I have waited so much on you, and like, Lord, can you do something? And I was really holding on to my faith. Like, alam ko talaga na God will really show up, and God will really heal JD without any operation. Then God honored my dealings with Him. He really answered my prayer. So, upon checking, yung 2.5 inches na cyst, naging parang nail na lang siya, laki ng kuko. So, it was a size of a nail. And the doctor told me that time, and he really had a video call on me, and he told me like that, Mommy, we don't need a major operation or surgery because the mass is too small already for a major operation, and the best thing we can do is we have to have a biopsy test again so that we can check if the cyst is benign or not. So he told me we can wait up to 2 years old, another 1 year again, and by that time we will decide if we will gonna go for an operation, kasi sobrang lumiit na siya and hindi na siya pwedeng operahan. So it was an unanswered prayer. I remember my doctor telling me like, hey, I think your pediatrician, which is another doctor, was giving certain medicines for JD, kasi he was really also wondering why the tumor became so small. And guys, there's no medication, there's no whatever, kasi lang siya, we did not give him certain medicines for him to heal or para lumiit yung cyst, because as you have checked nga in Google, hindi siya lumiliit. Upon giving birth, once the child is already out in the womb, that cyst will not grow small. Instead, for operation talaga siya. So it was really a miracle by that time, and was really like I felt like God was really like, showing up something on me, like, hey, you just have to be patient, and you just have faith. You just have faith to believe that JD will be healed. So, and the doctor told me na sabi niya, Mommy, even though it became small, this is not yet a celebration kasi a small cyst or a big cyst is still the same. So, hindi, nakakatakot pa rin kasi meron pa rin cyst nga na naiwan. And by that time, God allowed certain situations. So, tinupad ko yung promise ko kay Lord. Umuwi ako in Philippines last April 2018. Because, tinupad ko I fulfilled what I have promised to God, that I will go back home if, gagaling si JD. And by faith, I went back home here, and nagantay ako for another 1 year, and those are the times na mas lalo akong lumuhod kay Lord. And He even led me to this verse where is this persistent widow, where she keep on praying and really kneeling down and asking God for a miracle na mahil. And in those years, I admit there are times that I really want to give up, and looking up to my child, I was really telling God that God, He's already my life, and I cannot really imagine Him losing. Parang, Lord, ikakamatay ko din ata if these babies will be gone too soon. And I remember pa pala nung lumabas kami ng the hospital, the doctor told us na some others are, pwede abort. But I was really telling God, no, I won't go for an abortion. I will give this child a chance to live, and I will be the best mom and the best person. I may not be perfect, Lord, but I will gonna do my best to raise a godly man, and so that he can also testify to the world that up until now you can still perform miracles. Those times and a lot of days, like imagine for 2 years I have waited for so long na alam mo yung parang you are not yet secured, because you know that there's still a monster inside of him. Then last March this year, we're supposed to do a checkup November 2018 on his second birth, but due to so traumatic experience that I'd been through, from in and out of the hospital and everything, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, I was really like so traumatized that I don't want to go back in the hospital anymore, and I don't want to even remember or reminisce those times getting in the hospital and knowing that you will hear another horror story or another news that you will hear from the doctor. So we went down this March 2019 to the doctor. By that time, I told my husband, hey, I cannot really afford to go back to the hospital alone, though I know it's an urgent situation, but I cannot do it alone. I need you, and I want you to be here, and I want you to be with me in the hospital. So he went back for a vacation, and finally we went down to the doctor, and the pediatric surgeon was quite shocked. Hey, it's been 2 years, why you never get back, why this, like that and that. And the next thing he told me right away is that we will gonna have a scan first, and if in case we will gonna see something, we will gonna do a major operation right then and there. It will be an ASAP case, because it's been 2 years already, and it's been living in his body for a long time. So we went for a test. And he just told me na to send the result through SMS, kasi I think it will be another 3 days na he will gonna get back in Davao. Upon reading the result after 4 hours, I have already the peace in my heart somehow. Like, it seems like they did not indicated any like mass or something like that. It was like more on ubo or pneumonia. So that the doctor told me to send him the result so that he can finalize what will be the next step to do. So upon sending him, I was quite surprised that it took 3 days or 4 days for him to reply. So it seems like he was not already in the urgency to solve the case of JD. Kasi I remember that time when we came down, talagang alam mo yun, he was really telling me like, hey, this is an urgent case and we must do something about it, and this could be the things and that, like that. So I have already the peace in my heart, like I think I will gonna receive a good news. So on the 4th day upon arriving in doctor's clinic, so I spoke to him. He was really telling me, hey mommy, the case is resolved. Like, what do you mean, doc? Like, wala na daw sis yung lungs ni JD, and wala na daw sis and resolved na daw. And he was really like telling me 3 times like, ang lakas nyo kay Lord, ang lakas nyo kay Lord, ang lakas nyo kay Lord. Because I remember that time, every time we go to his clinic, he will tell me another same case with JD na inoperahan niya that day. So, he's healed, he's good, and nawala na yung cyst, and the operation is wala na. Hindi na, even him cannot really explain what exactly happened to JD, why he got healed, why the cyst is gone. Kahit ano, kasi yun nga, if you search everything, it has to undergo operation. But one thing is for sure, God really showed up, and God was really faithful on His words, and I just clung unto Him, and I just clung on His words. And even seeing JD for this past 2 years, we never see him so weak. Instead, he grew up so smart, so kind, so loving baby, na hindi talaga namin siya nakitaan ng any signs of his getting weak and weak and weak. So, praise God. To God be the glory of all the things that He has done to us. And He really spared us. He was really faithful, fulfilling His promises. He was so kind. He's my healer. He really showed up on that day. And even the day before I came to the hospital, my word was like, JD's life will be like Samuel, like he will gonna live a life, a godly life, offering to God, kasi pinagaling niya yung anak ko. And I'm so excited one day that I will gonna share my story, JD's story, about what we went through and how God healed him, how God made a miracle in our lives, and how faithful God is sa buhay namin. So, to those moms, you know, and to those people that are really going through sicknesses or having, or, you know, going through some hardships in life, just always have faith in God, and just always believe in Him, that He is good, that He is faithful. And sometimes He will really allow situations, hard situations in our lives, so that He can really show to us that He is really a good God, and a God who is very powerful. And you know, sometimes our testimonies will become an encouragement to other people. And sabi ko talaga, that time, one of the commitment I have committed to God is like, Lord, pag pinagaling mo si JD, talagang isi-share ko yung story namin, so that other people will come to know that up until this day, you can still perform miracles, you can still do miracles, and that you love us, and that sicknesses doesn't comes from you, it comes from the devil, who will gonna try to destroy us and destroy our lives, and to instill lies in our head na Diyos ka, na galit. Hindi, He is a healing God, He is a powerful God, He is a mighty one. And up until now, hanggang lumaki si JD, his life will be a celebration for us, na he will leave a mark on our lives, that, you know, God really performed a miracle in the midst of millennial days. Kaya pinangalan ko si JD ng Jedediah Israel, because God's apple's eye, he is God's favorite, he is the apple of God's eyes, and he is a chosen one. Because I really believe na even those time, even in the most struggling situation, I still declared him, even nagkasakit siya that time, I still declared and named him after God because alam ko na his case is special in the eyes of the Lord. I hope those people who are hearing this, you are encouraged, and if you are going through something, you can comment on the section box below, or you can message me in my Facebook if you want a prayer, and you just have to hold on to your faith that nothing is impossible and God is good and He is our healer. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and for watching these stories. God bless to all of you. So this is JD, guys. I want to show you my healthy miracle answered prayer na baby sa aking buhay. Say hi, JD. Hi. Say hi, guys. How are you? I love you. I miss you. Take care. Thank you for watching. I love you, Nanay. Subscribe. Say subscribe. Thank you for listening to my story. I love you. Mwah. Mwah. Take care. Be strong. Always. God bless you. Look at them. God bless you. Bye-bye. Oh, kiss mommy. Kiss mommy. Bye-bye. Nanarapo. Bye.